One, go.
Hey, Bravehearts, how you doing? I'm Dr. Daryl Wolf, and today's one-a-day is anger is love disappointed. Now, for some of you, you may not understand what I'm talking about when I say anger is love disappointed. But think about all the reasons why you get angry, okay? All right? Well, you'll get angry because things just aren't going your way. You know what? I'm going to bring you back to a story here that I tell, and it's a true one, and that's this. Everyone that comes into this physical being is actually a spirit being. That's right. Now, does a spirit feel love, or is a spirit love? A spirit is love. It's probably way beyond even unconditional love, because there's probably no words for it because the vibration is so high. The spirit is whole. And, you know, we were created in the likeness of what everybody says God. Well, the likeness is not the physical body. The likeness is that we are electrical magnetic frequency vibration. And that what all is God. Now, understand something. When you come to this planet as a spirit being and infused into the womb, well, guess what? That's the beginning of the tomb. And I'll tell you why. Here's the reality. When you come here as a spirit being, you aren't unconditional love. You're beyond unconditional love. I know this from my research. This is my own private, personal research. You know what? I want to understand things, not that I can come on here and do a one-a-day. I want to understand things, not so that I can teach a whole life coach certification to professionals or a whole life emotional, nutritional training to the general public. That's not why I want to understand things. I want to understand things because guess what? I understand this, that it's an understanding that I need. And the first thing is that almost everybody out there that has ever taught me anything was a subconscious, unconscious liar. Was a subconscious, unconscious liar. Okay? All right? I don't need a permission slip to make up my own story. And I'll guarantee you that if you're sitting calmly and connected to your breath, my story is more logical than 99% of the stories out there, because everything I want in logic. I'm not going to believe it because it's been handed down through generations. Oh, my grandfather's grandfather's grandfather told this story. Really? You can't even get on the phone and tell somebody something and it's not going to get screwed up, especially today. All right, because everybody's head is everywhere. But understand this. You come down here as a light energy being, which means it's beyond unconditional love. I mean, it's energy, baby. It's pure energy. And then guess what? When you're born, guess what? You're full of smiles and laughter, unless your parents are or your mother is eating dairy and alcohol and poison, and then you're sucking on her breast and taking that in. And now they say you have colic, but you don't. You just have poisons, and you have constipation and diarrhea and disruption before your digestive tract even gets to get going. But the reality is, we know this, that babies are beautiful. We know that babies have a vibrational frequency. Well, the baby itself smells so beautiful, like better than any flower. You ever see people? They want to smell the newborn. They want to smell the baby until it's probably close to, you know, for at least the first few weeks. Because why? Because the baby's not going to smell so good afterwards. Do you know why? Well, because the baby gets to become rotten to the core like its parents. Because tell me a couple of people that are called parents that aren't adulterated by the time they have children. You'll see where I'm going here. The reality is this. I'm not blaming parents, because I was adulterated too. You can't be an adult unless you're adulterated. Oh my God, you went to a government school, for God's sakes. You bought into a religion that you need a permission slip to actually, you got to get through that religion to get to God. And then there's so many steps you have to do. There's either the 10 Commandments or there's the 55 rules with the Jewish religion. So, everybody's got their game, and everybody's always keeping us from our authentic self, our true self, which is a spirit being. So the reality is when we get here, we are beyond unconditional love. My God, I have to teach unconditional love to people, and hopefully they perfect that with themselves, and then they start utilizing that with the world. And I'll tell you why in a minute. So anyway, so I get here and I'm a baby, and my parents are going goo goo gaga, but they don't know that I'm just laughing and having fun because you know what? I'm in love with myself. And who are they? Well, they're people. They're somebody. I don't know. They're my parents, but they're there. But I'm just a vibrational little spirit, and I'm just having the time of my life. Okay, all right. And the reality is this: by the time you walk and talk, love is now conditional. It is, isn't it? You wait till Daddy gets home. If you do that again, you know what? Mommy won't love you. Okay. Mommy's not going to love you if you don't be good. Okay. Daddy's going to get you. Okay. Nobody's going to love you when you grow up if you act like this. Guess what? I wish I could have said this. I don't give a shit who loves me when I grow up. And that doesn't mean that, and I don't mean to swear, but the reality is that was the threat. There's the threat. Nobody's going to love you if you don't love us first. If you don't respect us first, even when we're just disrespecting ourselves and you. See, parents aren't bad. People that raise children, they're not bad. They've just got bad beliefs. The only people that should be parents are people that have unconditional love. What do you think? What do you think? How many fights do you think you would have avoided if you had unconditional love for yourself first and foremost, and you didn't need anyone's love? My partner's name is Lori. I love being with her. She is a beautiful spirit. I don't need her love. I love her. I don't need her love. I love her. If she chooses to show love to me, that is great. But I don't need anybody's love. And that's not because, I've had enough of love. I just won't love anymore. I just can't take it. Love. Who can handle that? 1 minute they love you, 1 minute they don't. And then they play love ransom if you don't do what they tell you to do. Well, I don't play love ransom with myself. I don't do it with my kids. I don't do it with my friends. I don't do it with anyone. But it doesn't end there, does it? On this planet, it's love ransom and money ransom. Because guess what? What would it take for you to do something that is against your morals? How much money would I have to pay you? You couldn't pay me any money to go against my morals because I'm not a good person. I'm not a beautiful person. I'm not a person in love with life because I care what anybody thinks, because I'm not a person. I'm a spirit being. And if you understood that, guess what? You are eternal. Okay? Listen, the people that are down here that are angry, they become miserable. They become desperate. And the reality is they're not having a good time. And they don't know who they are. You won't know who you are until you know your authentic self, which is that you're a spirit being. Will I ever totally understand that? No, and I don't think anybody does. I think there's so much hidden from us. I mean, we don't even see all the light spectrums. We don't see, we don't hear all the sounds. We only see our dimension. It's very narrow. And understand something, most people are very narrow-minded, okay? All right? And it's not their fault, but it's because we've all been programmed, and it's so bloody easy. If you don't want to process through your heart and make sure that you fill up your heart with unconditional love from yourself, completely full, you'll never be hurt by another person again. I have 4 children. Yesterday, and they're adult children, I had a very beautiful talk because I talk slowly, softly. I let one of my adult children know that, guess what? The world's going into chaos. And listen, I said, I love you, sweetheart, but you are chaos. And yeah, you want to come here? You want to come here. Okay. Well, then guess what? You're going to have to fill up your heart, and you're going to have to let go of what you believe I should have done and I didn't do, your mother should have done and she didn't do, and how the world owes you. So just know this, 9,999 people seek love every day. They seek love, and they're more desperate for it and more addicted to it than alcohol or anything else, until they get to the point that they don't believe anybody loves them anymore. And love is so painful that they'll do drugs or alcohol to numb out that feeling of wanting love or to be loved. I am love. I am love for myself. I can make the greatest mistake today, and I can sit down logically and observe it and go, how can I do better next time? And if I actually hurt someone and they need to hear the word sorry, I will say it to them. Will I mean it? Yes, I will mean it. But you'll never hear me say sorry, because guess what? I will never intentionally try to hurt someone or try to rip them off. Whether you want to believe this or not, people say that we're entering into a golden age. Other people say it's the end of the world. I'm telling you that there's going to be a big division. I'm telling you that, and this is just my point of view. So I've been wrong and I'll be wrong again. But I try to look at things logically. I never look at things in a negative way. I just go, wow, I am not going to work with that person. I am not going to go to that party because I know what that party's based on. Everything for me is vibrational. Everything for me is light. I'm not going to go somewhere that's going to bring me down, and then I've got to go and realign myself and bring my vibration up. I'm not going to go somewhere and do something, whether it's alcohol or toking or drugs or the way you eat, and just totally go and misalign myself and then have to work to come back again. I'm not going to do it. And I'm not doing it because I'm better than anyone else. I'm not better than anyone else, but guess what? I'm going to have a better life than anyone else. And guess what? What was so wrong about that? And I state it every day. I am not better than anyone else, but I'm going to have a better life than anyone else. And how am I going to do it? I'm going to fill up my love. I'm going to fill up my heart with love every day. I'm going to process everything for the next 7 years through my heart, because they're going to want to try to get me to go to my head and to actually lash out and hurt people, whether it's emotionally, physically, or whatever. Or because right now, I'm going to be honest with you. I know that I have the best nutraceuticals on the planet. I've been at it for 40 years. I know that my trainings are worth way more money than we charge. Nobody supports their practitioners and their patients like I do. And if they do, I want to know how, because I'll do that too. Nobody gives more than me, far as I know, and it's not because I'm a nice guy. I have this model that I have unlimited ability, and that the world is abundant. I mean, think about it, First of all, petroleum doesn't come from dinosaur bones. We couldn't use up the petroleum on this planet if we tried. There is more fresh water in the earth than on top of the earth, like 10 times more. You can drive through almost any country except the big cities and see that there's so much room and so much vegetation. Oh my God, if you took half the trees that they plant and made some of them fruit trees, or they're all food trees, 50% are food trees. They give fruit, not just plant this bush, that tree. I mean, most trees are ornamental, and that's because we're mental. Let me tell you, if you were to plant 50% of the trees were to bear fruit, there wouldn't be any problem. There would be no supermarkets needed. But it's not going to happen. That's not going to change. I get it. Everybody's got this grandiose idea that They think that enough of the population is going to change, and then, oh my God, the second coming. I'm going to tell you something right now, and I'm not trying to make fun of anything either, but you are what you've been looking for. And the reality is this is a training ground. And I don't care how many times you play Monopoly, the rules always stay the same. So, we're talking about, they say that the world is actually, that we're on the sixth extinction. Don't believe me. Go do your science. Now, if we're on the sixth extinction, I'm telling you that it's the same thing. We're talking about hundreds of thousands of years to just keep being recycled. And you're going to keep getting recycled down here on a minute-to-minute basis, on a daily basis, on a monthly basis, if you keep running the same damn programs. And the reality is, how angry are you? How quickly do you anger? How quickly do you come back into unconditional love for yourself, and you stop beating yourself up by pointing the finger or telling yourself your life would be so much better because of Dr. Wolf or Daryl Wolf or your mother, your father, or anybody else? So anger is love disappointed, and you will remain disappointed. And understand something, if you don't believe me. How about some of you out there that have had like 12 different girlfriends, boyfriends? How about this? How about those of you that have been married twice, 3 times? You learn really slow, and you learn not to react and attack faster. But as well as I do, that at the end of the day, it's always been about you, not trading somebody in. Now, understand, I get it. There are people that I've been with in my lifetime where I have changed and they have not. And if I stayed there, even if I changed for the better, I would be the terrorist, wouldn't I? Oh, yes, I would. Oh, yes, I would. Trust me. You're just as much of a terrorist, when you're trying to convince someone else to live your life and they don't want to, even though you may think or you believe that those changes would be life-saving, life-changing for that person. But then you're just looking to be their savior. And you also bought into the whole thing about suffering. So, it's a kind of a complex thing, like people will actually, they have to get their suffering in, people need to suffer so much or they don't believe that they're alive. And that's the truth. Well, me, I don't go for any of that. I'm not going to suffer. And you can go, yeah, but aren't you empathetic? Well, yes, I am. I take a look at a person's situation that has anger, and I know that they are disappointed, but they're disappointed from dysfunctional beliefs. So if that person wants to work with me and then find out that this dysfunctional belief keeps on destroying your beautiful days, if something keeps happening, it's because you keep playing it. And that thing you play is actually your personality that needs to change. Oh, yeah, your personality needs to change. My personality must change 1% every day. I'm becoming a lot stronger, in my business point of view. And also, remember something. 3 years ago, people were throwing money at us. Because they wanted this. Every day I'm on the phone, and more than not, I can't afford it. I just want to be there. I'm trying to get the money. I can't afford it. I just want to be there. We are trying to do everything we can to reduce and to make it easier for our courses. And I'm like, we're already working on it. But the reality is we can't make changes that fast. And we can't reduce our prices of our products. We have never put our product prices up in 7 years. So we have cut back everything, and we'll keep cutting back everything we can to not do that. Because understand, it was easy to run a business 3 years ago. And now, if you aren't awake, it was easy to find love. That's why I'm talking about it. It was easy to find love 3 years ago, 4 years ago. it's going to be harder to find love when people don't love their life. They don't realize it, but you can't give what you're not. You're going to give what you are. So you go ahead and you get angry because you have love disappointed. Okay, whether it's a financial thing or just things going on. And, you know, the last few weeks, it's like, oh my gosh, can I get something done and finish writing my new book? Can I just do that without, oh, here, now they threw something else at us. Now we've got to change this whole thing. So we saw this coming, and we've been preparing for what's going to happen here starting in October. And it's already started, guys. So we're already in a depression, but people don't even know that yet. They're like, you know, people are just living in the ozone. But what's starting, we've been preparing for 5 years for it. And every day I get up and I say to myself, how can I reinsure that I am going to fill up my heart totally with love so that I do not burden Lori, my children, my friends, and my staff with telling me how beautiful I am, how great I am, how much they love me, how much they need me. I don't want any of that. I want everybody that is around me to become their own authentic person, where they don't have to lean on me and rely on me, because then there's no growth. You go ahead and say that my family comes first, okay, meaning before you. You go ahead and telling everybody that my family means everything. You go ahead and tell everybody that you're going to die for your family. Well, I am not going to die for my family. Would I give up my physical body for my family? Yeah, because I'm not scared to move on to the next level or realize that, guess what, I didn't do enough spirit-based work here, and now I got to do a redo, okay? I'm not scared about that. I mean, you know, people want their life over with, and little do they know, wherever you get to on the spirit plane is when you pass on, you get to come back and start there. Now, that's my story, okay? All right. And I'm not a big guy on karma either, because guess what? If you believe in karma, it exists. And the reality is karma. Well, if I stole and somebody's told the police I stole it, well, that could be, you could call that karma. But the reality is this, okay? If your vibration comes higher, okay, then the karma you think you created, then it's no longer with you. That's just another religion. And no disrespect to East Indian philosophy or anything like that, but I don't believe in karma. I don't believe that you'll have karma when you feed your spirit and when you have unconditional love for yourself and the world. And no matter how bad you were before this, okay, how bad you were before this, I believe that if you made a vibrational change, you've made a change. It's not coming for you. And that's the truth. So that's only for dummies. You know that? It's the same justice system that we have down here, which we don't have a justice system down here. And if you actually really believe that, and this is why I'm trying to tell you where all the anger is coming from. And if you actually believe that, these psychos like the Rothschilds and the Rockefellers that murder tens of millions of people without a wink, where's their karma? And understand something, what you don't get and what most people don't get is that's BS. Because guess what? They have a rule with their God of light that if they tell you they're coming for you, or they're going to poison you a certain way, or they're going to do something, and you don't stand up for yourself, well, they're off the hook, baby. And the reality is that's their belief. And whether you want to believe this or not, your beliefs are everything. And they could destroy you. My father was a born-again Christian pastor and a carpenter, and his beliefs almost destroyed me. I was born a free spirit. Now, did everything he taught me wrong? No, I didn't say that. Okay, but I became a rebel. By the time I was 8 years old, I was in trouble for the rest of pretty well, I guess I'm still in trouble, don't I? I get in trouble all the time, right? You know? Yeah. But the reality is you're going to get into trouble, but it's none of your business if you process through your heart. And, I don't feel threatened by anybody. And, so why should you be fearful when you don't speak like me? You don't come on these platforms. Most of you don't anyways. Don't be scared anymore. And don't get angry. The anger, okay, is stored in your liver. Okay. All right. It's stored in your liver. And I don't allow myself, even in the worst case scenario, to be angry for more than 30 seconds. Watch this. 1001, 1002, 1003, 1004, 1005, 1006, 1007, 1008, 1009, 1010, that's only 1/3 of the way. Do you think I'm actually going to stay angry for more than 10 seconds? Are you like, what benefit is that? Because anger is love disappointed. And most of the time you're disappointed in yourself. And the problem is that the belief systems you got from your parents, most of them, and please, parents, I'm not picking on you, and from a lot of other isms out there, that's how you run. There's hardly any belief systems that I haven't taken a really good look at and decided you can stay and you can play, and the rest you won't grow, so you can go, and that's it. And I'm still working on it. I turned 67. I will never be there. I will never get there, because this is an infinite journey. And guess what? If you just knew that if you had unconditional love for yourself at every moment, and you were connected to your breath and you process through your heart, your life would change that right away. Right away. People will say to me, I'm in the process. And I'll say, no, you're not. You're not in the process. You need to take massive personal action and have unconditional love for yourself. Whatever you have done in your life, you need to forgive yourself. And who gives a crap if anybody else forgives you? And that's it. If you want, you can reach out to people and say, look, you know what? I'm starting to wake up here. I get it. I didn't treat you with respect. Okay? And there was a lot of people throughout my life I did not treat with respect. But I thought I did. It's just that I was in survival mode because I was angry, because it was love that did not deliver. And that's my, I can say right now, because that's my fault, because I wasn't awake. And I just love how they tell you that when you come down here, you have choice. You don't have choice. From 0 to 7, you have no filters. Everything your parents do, everything they say, everything they eat, the way they treat themselves, the way they treat each other, you take that on. Every teacher that they allow you to go to, okay, that was hired by the government, thank you very much, and that was actually orchestrated by the Rockefellers in North America and the Rothschilds in Europe and England. Yeah, that's our teachers. So understand, there's nothing wrong with you. And if you're angry, depressed right now, just know why you're depressed. You're angry too long. It just drains the energy out of you. And when you're angry, you don't dump serotonin. And understand something. Do you know why people get depressed? Because they're not happy. Do you know why they're not happy? Because they don't practice it. Do you know why they don't practice it? Because they have anger disappointed. They're anger disappointed. That's right. They have anger because they're love disappointed. Because until you love yourself unconditionally, and understand, when you start to grow and you start loving yourself, that doesn't mean anybody else in the family is going to buy for this. And the reality is this. Oops, now you're going to have a problem, because guess what? You know how many relationships where it's mainly women, not men? It is men sometimes, but mainly women. And they start wanting, I feel like a shell. I don't even know what love is. And then they start loving themselves. And boy, oh boy, they get in big trouble from the husband, because he's having nothing to do with it. Because men are taught to suppress their emotions, right? Not to show their emotions. But now I don't know what men are. I don't have a clue. I think I was, I'm not part of this new thing, and I'm not going to be part of it. And I don't know what a man is anymore. Okay. All right. So there's so many different definitions. I'll tell you one thing. I know what love is. Love is being thankful, filling up your own heart. Anyways, I just want to mention a couple things. Our sales on right now, and also on October the 7th, we'll be starting our courses here in the beautiful Ixtapa Zihuatanejo. Right now, I'm being honest with you, we have 6 people in the course. So see how things change, everyone? See how people are so fearful? Do you know how many people we usually get in a course? Minimum is around 16. We usually are around 24 to 32. We have 6 people in the course, and my course has never been so good. And that's not a sales pitch, but it is, you know. And the reality is this, you know what? If it was government approved, it doesn't even have to be government paid, okay? We wouldn't be, well, I wouldn't want that way, because then everybody would just come, because everybody's just bloody well programmed. You know as well as I do that the majority of the population are only going to do what the majority of the population does, which means you should never do what the majority of the population does. So I'm just going to get under this tree here and tell you something, and then I'm going to end my little one a day, which wasn't too little. Right now, I'm trying to stay really quiet in my mind and stay really peaceful. I've had about 3 people that I work with that are desperate about money, and they have pulled the rug out from us. The reason is I'm not upset. Everybody's going to do what they can do. What I'm trying to tell you is this is time that you better know who you're picking to stay near you. You know, you need people near you that understand about respect, dignity, holding the line, and respecting those people that you work with, you know, because what somebody does to me, it comes through a ripple effect to my practitioners. Yeah. So we're going to be making a lot of changes with Doc of Detox, Braveheart Nation, where we're going to protect the platforms more, because guess what? Anybody, okay, all right, can say they're having a good time when things are going their way. Let me see you over the next 5 years. Stay in the present moment, own it, go after your passion and purpose, and let's see you not lose your crap, okay? Let's see you not get angry. Let's see you dump enough serotonin that you don't go into depression and then take drugs that do nothing for you except make you want to have suicide. Let's see. You know, most of the practitioners, they don't want to talk to their people about this, but you know, we'll keep doing the sales as much as we can. We're trying to figure out how much money it takes to keep the doors open through this whole thing and still deliver the message and the nutritionals to people. And you better get this, everyone. I told you this before. Take 30% of what you spend at the grocery store and then get yourself like the Perfect Day Multi, the Daily Cleansing Tea, Black Gold, Black Diamond, maybe Curcumin Cayenne 5000, but definitely the Ormus, Beyond Ormus minerals. They're the highest electrical electrolytes in the world. Let me tell you something. There's not one mental disorder and there's not one physical disorder that isn't dependent on getting your minerals. And I have 92 minerals in my Beyond Ormus, and they have the highest electrical charge of any electrolyte minerals on the planet. We can show you that if you don't believe me. You know, it's kind of funny. You know, people always say, oh, he's full of you know what, he's a liar, whatever the case may be. I'm right here. I'm right here. You want to challenge me? Come on my show. You want to challenge me? Give me a call. All right, I'm right here. But I'll tell you one thing. You better start challenging yourself, because you have infinite possibilities, because you are a spirit being first and foremost. Don't let this physical meat suit fool you. You are not limited on what's going to happen to you. You need to understand, okay, that everything that you think, everything that you say, everything that you do goes out to universal intelligence, okay? All right, I did not call it God. I call it universal intelligence, creator, source, okay? I don't like the stories that are behind God. One minute he loves me, 1 minute he hates me. So the reality is I keep putting my messages out there. If you don't believe me, take a look at the fearful person and what they're fearful for, and tell me that whatever they're fearful for doesn't get worse. And then tell me that that all that stuff we talk about God is true. God is the highest vibrational frequency. God is everything. God is a sign. God is everything. God is in everything. It is source energy. So, you know what? Don't open your mouth, but do open your mind. And when you open your mind, be kind and loving to yourself and put out a frequency to that of the universal intelligence that you deserve everything and more. Have a beautiful day. God bless.